Our first segment of the day is entitled Youth Engagement. The panel will deliberate on the various issues related to the next generation of Pakistani Americans. I now invite Ms. Sidrah Aslam, the moderator for this panel, as well as honorable panelists and lead discussants of this segment, to kindly come on stage.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the Embassy of Pakistan, I welcome you all here. My name is Sidrah Aslam, and I am Second Secretary Political at the Embassy of Pakistan. I am privileged to host and moderate the very first panel discussion of today's convention, the title of which is, What Does It Mean to Be a Pakistani American Youth? There are no two opinions about the fact that in order to shape up the future relationship between Pakistan and the United States, and in order to strengthen the ties between the two countries, the Pakistani American youth does have and will have a very central and effective role to play. Like Ambassador said, that is why we have mentioned the word youth in the title of the convention as well. And not only that, we have also began with the very first panel that is focused on the youth issues. Our objective of this panel discussion would be twofold. One is to analyze the opportunities as well as the challenges that are associated to Pakistani American identity. Also, we are trying to get ideas on how do we engage our youth more effectively in order to build a better relationship and a forward-looking relationship between Pakistan and the United States. Before I introduce the panelists and the discussants, I wish to thank all of those young students and young professionals who have contributed indirectly, and they have sent us their testimonials on the very same topic to us, which are being displayed on the two screens. I would also wish to invite, if you guys have any comments or if you have any recommendations to make, please do email us, maybe during the event or later after the event, and we will try to reflect all those in our outcome document. Now, without any further delay, let me introduce the very young and very enthusiastic panel of today's first panel discussion. On the right side, rightmost, we have Misbah Faroouqi. Misbah is studying political science at American University in Washington, D.C. Besides politics, she is also passionate to learn international relations, journalism, and social justice. Misbah aims to become a human rights lawyer in the future. Right next to me is Afshan. Afshan is currently studying at George Mason University. He is a biology major and is probably looking forward to joining medical school in near future. We have with us Ahsan Ali. Ahsan is BA in political science. He in his very young age volunteered for President Obama's election campaign. Ahsan is co-founder and president of Pakistani American Youth Society. We have with us Sadaf Ayaz. Sadaf is studying neurobiology, journalism and theatre at Hunter College. She is also an actor and model. She is being featured on Cosmopolitan, BBC and New York Minute films. She is also the author of 2 books and the CEO and founder of Rev 21. I would like to thank both of them because they have traveled from New York to take part in this panel discussion. We are also privileged to have with us 2 of the very prominent lead discussants who have done really well in their student and professional life. We have with us Adnan Bokhari. Adnan is the Chief Financial Officer and Chief Operating Officer at Prosperity Now, which is a non-profit organization. He serves on the board of Golden Key International Honor Society and National Immigration Law Center. In addition to his professional achievements, Adnan remained an effective member of Pakistani American Youth Community, and he leads the National Association of Pakistani Americans Youth Initiative, which is focused on career development, political engagement, and community building for young and emerging leaders of Pakistani origin. Last but not least, we have Jaseem amongst us. Jaseem is currently working for the Financial Services Advisory Practice at Ernst & Young. Jaseem's professional global experience includes a very prominent role with the World Bank in the past. He completed his Masters in International Commerce and Policy from the George Mason University. During his student life, he remained very active on youth initiatives and served in various associations in lead roles. I will start our conversation with a very basic question, which is that what does it actually mean to be a Pakistani American youth? And none other than these panelists who represent a whole lot of the Pakistani American youth can better dilate upon this very important question. So I will start with Misbah, if you can kindly start your views on the very same topic. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. As was stated, my name is Misbah Faroouqi and I'm a current student at American University. So to be a Pakistani American youth, this is something that has always been a key part of my identity, and it's something that has truly shaped the way I live my life and my decisions as well. Being a Pakistani American youth, I've always wanted to learn more about the country where my parents are from, and this has been through my trips to Pakistan as a child, and also just immersing myself in the culture, from the food to the clothing and everything else in between. I definitely think that as a Pakistani American youth, I've been more interested in learning about the connection between Pakistan and America and how we can help to bridge those gaps, because I feel like with my decision to go into law, I hope to further pursue this by looking more into Pakistani-American relations and how we can further those relationships, and I feel like being of both countries, I can definitely help to do so through politics and through connecting with both cultures.
Okay, so if I put across the same question with a little variation, that are there any typical challenges that you feel would be associated to your identity as a Pakistani American? I would like to dilate upon the very same issue, but those should include the challenges that you feel would be associated to that particular identity.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Afshan Chottani. Being a Pakistani American, I feel that the first thing that's introduced is the idea of the law of opportunity. This idea fuels the entrepreneurial spirit and allows a person to think really big. A good thing about being a Pakistani American is that your statuses are always being challenged by yourself and by other people around you. This further encourages you to think outside of the box. Now, when we move to America, there are a few things that you bring with you, and those are your traditions, your customs, your practices. Those things are embedded into your identity. But as Pakistani Americans, we strive to maintain a balance in between Pakistani culture and American culture. Hauling from one country that has a more or less homogeneous culture and moving to America is a really eye-opening experience and acts as a cultural shock. But however, this gives us many opportunities for us to diversify our interaction between different types of religions, ethnicities, and cultures. You can also befriend people who have a very completely different background than yours. However, not only does America unusually have a clear idea about what it stands for as a democratic nation, it also has enough experience for them to build their own cultural palette or coexistence through all the different cultures that live in this society. However, there are a few things that a Pakistani American may experience as they proceed with their success in the future. One flaw might be that you might experience discrimination, and this is due to misconceptions and ignorances about your culture. And this is also fueled by stereotypes that it builds up in that society. One other flaw might be that you might have a hard time deciding on which culture to follow. Like a cultural shock, you might want to lean more towards an American culture or a Pakistani culture. One last flaw might be that you might have a hard time deciding on whether to follow your family values or your social circle as you're more engulfed into this society and this culture. In conclusion, I think that I still believe that as a Pakistani American youth, I and all Pakistani American youth can build a bridge between US and Pakistan. Through my diverse knowledge and my thoughts that are built by Pakistani heritage, this has given me a better perspective on how to look at different cultures and mutual coexistence. And these types of perspectives have shaped who I am today. Thank you.
Thank you, Afshan. Sadaf, if I may revert to you, and I would like to ask you that what, in your opinion, is the biggest problem that the Pakistani American youth faces in the United States in life? My second part of the question is that, do you think that between your generation and between previous generations of Pakistani Americans that we had, do you think that there is a kind of cultural difference or there is a clash of culture?
Assalamu alaikum, first of all. It's really nice to be here, and it was really nice to listen to the rest of the panelists, and I'm really excited to see how the rest of the day progresses. In terms of your question, this is one thing that I've been really passionate about. What Pakistani American youth need in order to succeed in America. One of the biggest problems I see is the lack of actual community support. I can't begin to tell you the amount of people who've come up to me and said, Beta, we support you. Beta, you're doing a really good job, and keep doing the good work. And when I go up to them and ask them for even the tiniest resources, I'm not talking about money or anything, the tiniest support of knowledge, I have a difficulty getting that. And the problem is that there's this constant issue of division and pulling each other's legs in our community. And until that ends, and I'm saying this as someone who's a youth and who's seen elders do this to me. You know, elders are doing this to the youth. They've gotten to a point in their lives where they are at the top positions in their field, and they do not help the youth get to that place or higher. And when that problem exists in our society, in our community, what that means is that in America, our community will never rise to the top because we will always be chasing that same position that our elders are always at. So the very first thing we need is for elders to understand that the youth are smart and they're capable, and that we need your support and your resources more than just your words. You know, we really need you to go out there and really trust us with executing all the resources, all the plans that we have, and it's really, really important. And it's something that has been bothering me a lot lately because I spent the past 2 years constantly around the Pakistani community. My parents dragged us to these events. They were like, no, you have to go, you have to understand what people are doing. And at a point, my siblings and I were just like, please don't take us, because it was just the same old stuff. Same fights, same people, same words, no execution. So I think the very first thing we need is for adults to understand that. And I think there's no cultural clash. You know, even the youth understand what the culture is. It's the adults who need to understand and be inclusive. There's so many Pakistani American youth who have a very different idea of what culture is as Pakistani Americans. They're not just Pakistani, they're not just Americans. We're stuck in the middle, fending for ourselves because we don't find support anywhere properly. So, you know, that's another thing that's really important. You guys have to understand that if there are people who are not practicing the culture visually or externally, it's okay, you're still supposed to welcome them in your community. I think that's basically covered.
If I could ask you that, as Sadaf has said, that youth understands what Pakistani culture is. I would like to ask you that, what is that singular, unique aspect of Pakistani culture that you think has positively influenced your life so far?
Assalamu alaikum. Well, it's tough to follow that, right? Well, first I want to thank the Pakistani Embassy for having us here. I want to thank the Ambassador for his kind words and Sidrah for organizing this, the Consul General for being here and supporting this conference. I think it's great. But the one positive aspect that I think that our culture has is emotional intelligence. It's more of a philosophy than it is an aspect, and it's been inherited through generations of the Indus Valley people. And that is of what the ambassador was talking about, resilience. Resilience is the aspect in which shaped our understanding of emotional intelligence. The fact that any one of us can walk into a room and feel what's going on there, that is specific to Pakistani people. That is specific to us. We can look at someone and understand the way that they feel. And that's because we have such a rich culture of art and history. And it's because Brother Zishan can get up here and say such beautiful words. That is an aspect of his culture shining through the words that he speaks. So I would just say that our minds, because there's three parts of us, right? Physical, mental, emotional. God, we have it right when it comes to emotions. And I just really appreciate that aspect of our people. I really do.
Let's take the discussion a little more forward. So these are comparatively more younger lots than when it actually defines the youth. I'm not saying that you guys are old, nothing like that, but just taking another perspective onto that. Do you, Jaseem, if I can ask you that, do you think that your experience, specifically when you were here post 9/11 as well, do you think that it is a little different than what has been already said?
Thank you very much for having me, Jody, for your remarks, Sidrah, for being on this panel, which is already very dynamic. The challenges are definitely somewhat, I would say the challenges are the same, apart from me surviving 2 attempted murders back then and hate crime. I can let things stop right there and then. I have people, friends who live in different countries, from different Muslim countries, from Pakistan. They just want to go back home and just go back to their comfort zones. But as I said, the fight goes on and the fight should go on. So the challenges are, I would say it's a different time, but the challenges are the same. So each and every one of us in this room needs to rise and become an Azaz Jawli. Change is not going to come just from sitting in comfortable settings and just going about your business and saying, oh, the government will be we can achieve each and everything. Every person in this room can become foreign secretary in their own capacity. All you need to do is just go out there and realize that we are limiting ourselves. Again, going back to Sadaf's point, you are limiting yourself within your own mind, within your own home, within your own settings. You look at other countries, I'm not going to name other people, but you look at their formal structures for what they've done for the youth over the years. Specifically leaders, I grew up in the United Arab Emirates before I moved here. And one of the things that Ray Sheikh said before he passed away was, we need to remove obstacles from the youth, from the path of the youth, and we need to make sure that they can go forward and achieve what they're unable to achieve otherwise. So, looking at our present situation where we are right now, I think it's very important to realize that this is our 9/11. Pakistan is in a very bad spot right now, to be very honest with you. You look at your TV shows, you look at your own physical presence. You're in the home of your own empire at this point in time. You're in one of the most important cities in the world. A simple act can bring a lot of big change. You don't need to go out and be like, oh, I'm a staffer for XYZ. The W level will come over. This is the only level where we can bring change. A simple person doing a simple job can bring a change. So every day, live every day thinking we have to be proactive, not reactive. Why are we a reactive nation? After you already with Afshan Chottani, why don't you think about it when man is going on? This is the middle of the innings, I need to project a little bit better, the ending will be in my favor. So, just keep it nice and brief. I think, those are my feelings.
Thank you. Adnan, Jaseem stated do you think that there are more challenges to that?
I would first of all also like to echo the thanks that everybody has given to the ambassador, to Sidrah, to yourself. I also want to call out the convening power of the embassy. Just look around the room is full, and this is still Saturday morning. It's quite an achievement to be able to get that. To answer your question, I feel a lot has been said, and I agree. I would frame it in 3 terms. Success is about potential. It's about effort, and it's about opportunity. A lot of the things that Sadaf was talking about was the lack of opportunity here. But in terms of potential, I would agree, we have emotional intelligence, but we also have the other components. We also have physical and mental capabilities as well that we have seen Pakistanis utilize all the time. We are good in medicine, we are good in science, we are good in whatever field, architects, just name it. We have people who are top leaders in all of those fields. So really, I go back to and I go back to this speech about calm, work, and work. And we bring that and we connect it to what the ambassador was saying, right? Resilience. What we were talking about, what I call judgment. Best effort. This is something that Pakistanis, is a very unique piece about Pakistani culture. Our grandparents did judgment to get independence. Our parents were doing judgment to advance the country, to keep the independence. We are doing judgment in many ways when we are over here in the United States and presenting. I've been here since pre-9/11. I grew up in Pakistan, I grew up in Lahore, I was a teenager when I came over here. And we can see the differences and we can see the struggles. But we have the potential. We are very hard-working people. I want to share a story yesterday. A senior friend of mine was telling me. He said, you Pakistani Americans, this is a senior American who's telling me, you Pakistani Americans, this is what I noticed about you. You come over here, you work at a 7-Eleven for 2 years. By year 3, you're owning the 7-Eleven. That's the story of Pakistani Americans. That's the story of success. That's what we need to have. But we do need platforms, and embassy is providing this amazing platform to bridge this opportunity gap that we have. We have to focus on how do we do that, and there are many ways in which we can do that as well. There's something that Prosperity Now, which is fighting economic inequality, we talk about this a lot. We say that Americans have more capacity than they have the opportunity. And how do we bridge that opportunity gap is the key thing for us to talk about.
I totally agree with what you have said, but I still believe that there are a lot of fields where Pakistani American presence, Pakistani American youth's presence is not that what we want. So if I put that across to you, Ahsan, that what do you think would be the potential fields where we need more Pakistani Americans?
So we have to see how that permeates in the West, right? Because we have a plethora of professions in Pakistan. It's just that what success is defined by the West in this world, and that's unfortunate. We're trying to bridge that gap and break that. So I would say that we need to know where we are lacking. If we're lacking in artists, then we go there. If we're lacking in doctors, then we go there. If we're lacking in research, then we go there. If we're lacking in any other field, I would say that what's important is that we don't send our kids abroad. I mean, I think it's a very simple thing. If we had the facilities that we needed in Pakistan, and I'm sure that we do, it's just not, we don't have equal access to it, then there would be a lot of successful folks coming out of Pakistan and being great. Like you said, we have everything. The reason that I highlighted emotional intelligence is because what I personally feel is what we have the most of, what I've seen. But we do have everything. We are hardworking people. We can make that 7-Eleven ours, But in the process of making that 7-Eleven ours, we're losing focus of what it means to really take what you have and make that into a commitment to your country. That is what we're missing, right? A commitment to America. And a commitment to America starts with being involved in local politics, being a representative, making sure that all of your people are registered to vote. And so I would say that we need to focus a little bit more on committing to our community, and our careers will soon follow right after that.
not only, like I know for a fact that we have so many doctors who are actually coming from Pakistan. But what my point was that, there are still a lot of many fields. Like, we need more people in academia, we need more people in think tanks, we need more artists to present the softer image of Pakistan. What do you think the embassy can facilitate in order to provide that platform? How do we do it more effectively? So that if you could kindly just give me your word on that.
So, adding on to your previous question as well, I personally feel like one of the things that Pakistani Americans really need is not just people in the industry, but people at the top of those industries. So the reason why I started my media company, Rev 21 Media, was because I realized that in order to have real change in the world, you have to have a seat at the table that makes those decisions. So even if we have doctors, we need those doctors to create hospitals that have a majority of Pakistani board members. We need law offices. We need, okay, so this might be a little controversial, but so there's so many people who are investing so much money into creating masjids and community centers, which I think is great, but there's a problem when there are 3 mosques on one avenue. Like, I don't understand why there's something like that, because those places can be used for so many other opportunities and things, and it just creates more divisions, right? So I feel like the way that the embassy can support is when people are starting their own, their own seats at the table in their specific industries. The embassy should be there to connect them with other industry experts who can help lead them in being able to create those seats at the table stronger and firmer, and being able to create a platform where, it's not just a one generation thing, it continues on generation after generation after generation. Because honestly, the Jews got to where they are because they're able to do that for their youth. They were able to get to the top and facilitate those positions for their youth. And Black Americans are doing the same exact thing right now. They have so many organizations passionately devoted towards their youth in terms of sponsorships, in terms of scholarships, in terms of opportunities. Their adults are really going out of their way to make sure if they see a Black person inside a community event, they reach out to them and say, how can we help you? And we need that.
But honestly not all of them, because you have your own perspective. But if Mr. You can also come up with your ideas on the very same question.
So I definitely agree with a lot of what has been said. And in regards to where the fields I think that Pakistani Americans need to focus on, I definitely think politics is one of them. As someone who is studying politics and hopes to go into politics, I find that this is a field that we really need to be in. For example, at my classes in college, most of my classes are full of white men. And honestly, that's a problem, because if we're constantly going to be talking about these issues and talking about what needs to change, that change is not going to come from those white men. It's going to come from people like us and people who look like us and understand our backgrounds and where we come from. So it's vital for Pakistani Americans to get involved in politics, become the politicians, and actually make the change that we want to see. And I'm not just saying that everyone has to go into politics or run for office, but this comes from things such as community building and things such as getting registered to vote, and all of that is crucial if we want to make a change and actually get to see Pakistan-American relations be where we want them to be. Going off of that, I also think that it's important for us to look at that in our own communities, because if our own community is not strong and if it's not unified, then we're not going to get anywhere from there. Like as Sadaf said, if we're constantly trying to tear each other down or create these divides, we're not going to be unified, and we're not going to show that we as a Pakistani community want to advance together rather than advance ourselves. And it's crucial for us to work together if we want to see any change and actually get to where we want to be.
I believe that the very first thing, the very big change of this age is the use of information technology. So if I may ask you that, how do you see the importance of information and communication technology for youth and their competitive effectiveness in the US market or in the global market?
I feel that ICTs play a central role in young people's lives and in societies at large. The information technologies have revolutionized our global markets, and that brings a lot of numerous opportunities for young entrepreneurs to, let's say, lowering barriers between marketing. Another might be that they could stimulate innovation online through websites and social media. One more thing might be that it might be, anyways, moving on. I feel that
I think maybe we can, take Jaseem your comment on that. What do you see? How can you use effectively information technology and connecting with people all across the United States?
I think it's definitely one of the biggest tools we have on hand, which is being used already on multiple platforms. You look at just the ranging from simple communication to business to science. Looking at our community, I think there needs to be a bigger platform. And I was just thinking about this on a macro level. There's no formal network of alumni, so to say, that come from different walks of life. If we have a nationalized or international database that we can utilize these platforms for, and we can generate it in a way where we can have this running database, which could be managed with by the government or by a separate entity, which goes to say that, hey, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm a businessman, I need to go out to this particular organization. I'm in my second year of college, I need an internship, I need a job, I need whatever. It did natural donation. I mean, we are at a time, I remember when I started my undergraduate career, looking at the Gulf countries especially, they had such an informal system, but a very effective system of how to connect their nationals to papers that were dated back to the 1980s. So they knew what they were studying, they knew what they could expect. And this was again a very informal, very non-digital method. With everything at our disposal today, I firmly believe we can capitalize on that, number one. And number two, we should promote the use of these technologies. I mean, everybody's great at developing these technologies. The problem arises when you see the middle-aged or my parents came up to speak with a lot of this technology because I actually forced them to. I think that's the right thing to do.
I think the younger generation is even more smarter.
So there needs to be a two-way exchange where we can say, take your deal out for me, I'll let you my area and whatever, but these are our skills. You bring these energies to the table. Let's develop that two-way exchange and then let's go forward.
I think Adnan wanted to add something.
Just a quick addition. So being included in the future of workforce conversations is going to be very critical. And part of the question about ICT is very relevant there. In January, a delegation of Muslim business and community members went to Richmond to meet with the governor and also his workforce secretary. And we talked about these issues of workforce, in particular how they're affecting Virginia. And we're saying that in the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be about a third to half of jobs that are going to be lost to automation. So we have to be really thinking about what the embassy can do, what the government of Pakistan can do, what Pakistani writers over here do, is really participate in what the future of workforce is going to look like, and how do we create centers to retrain our own workforce and move them into jobs that are going to be good, quality paying jobs. And in that, there was a person, again, I'm not a paid representative of 7-Eleven, but there just happened to be a person who had actually worked at the 7-Eleven, and he decided to do coding on his own. He decided to do coding on his own, and now he has a coding business, and he's teaching everybody else how to do coding as well, and is a very successful businessman from China, who was there, who was sharing his story. It's just a power of that.
Aren't you as pleased as I am by hearing these young voices? But I want to reflect on some of these people out.
Sure.
I think one of the subjects that was raised was identity. And I want to share with you, when I was traveling in the country, I went to Orlando. And in one such settings, we had a group of first generation Americans. One of them brought his two daughters. The elder one had done her undergrad and was about to do her master's. Her name was Mariam. So Mariam asked me, Uncle, who am I? And then she elaborated. She said that I am being raised in a way where I cannot date, but my peers do. I cannot drink, my peers do. I cannot wear skirt, my fellow girls do. So am I being un-American or not enough American? And my answer to her was that Mariam, you were born here, you were bred here, you are an American. Having said that, we all live in multiple concentric circles of identities. I gave her my example. I said, I am from Pakistan. I am a Punjabi. I am from Lahore. I am a Muslim. I am a Sunni or a Hanafi. I am a father. I am a husband. I am a son. And we all meet the requirements of all these layers of identities that we have. So you are an American, Mariam. You are an American of Pakistani heritage. You are an American of Pakistani heritage and Muslim faith, and so on and so forth. But the foremost identity for those who are born and bred here is American. And then, of course, the faith enriches that. You take on the best qualities from every identity that you have. As Ahsan said, that the emotional IQs of people coming from South Asia genetic makeup is higher. So you take that strength from you. And Muslims, as Muslims, we know that faith in the Creator gives you courage and hope that nothing else does. That's a positive attribute. So you're not in a competition with an American of some other heritage or some other faith. We all add, and you will be known by what you put on the table. If you do well, as one of you was already saying, then you can see well. The other point that I wanted to make was that came up was about the mosque. Muslims in America sometimes tend to think that they are in a sort of competition by as if they assert their Muslim identity or Islamic identity, and as if it is being resented or resisted by others. I have seen within this country mosques being used as community centers. Afshan's father, Afshan Chottani, is sitting here, and I visited his mosque in Maryland. And that was a community center. He is running a clinic adjacent to the mosque where I would say thousands of patients have come and received their treatment because they could not afford other health care. So it depends on what we mean. Mosque was never created as an institution only for worship. It had several roles. It would be a pity if we don't use that institution as a matter of strength for us. I think it was Misbah who pointed out about political participation. I think very, very important. Very, very important. I'm very happy that I have with us Dr. Ijaz, a heroic effort he's making by putting out APPAC, Public Affairs Committee. I'm sure there are others also who are engaged in these activities, but there's nothing that he gets out of it. all he is doing is to provide a platform where people can pool their resources and come out and get their due share in the American political life. So there should be more such like efforts. There should be more platforms and our youngsters. And I'm very happy we are preparing a glossary of all those Pakistani Americans who have gotten elected somewhere in some capacity. It doesn't have to be always US Senator and US members of Congress. But in your states, there are a number of elected officers that you need to be there so that you get involved. There are quite a few that exist there. What can, I think, Sidrah asked, what can the embassy do? I think I am picking up ideas, but I would recommend that if we run out of time, you go down and jot this down as to what is it that we can do, because this will be a very central question. We can serve only as a platform. It's your country, and whatever you do, if you succeed, my country, your motherland will be very happy. And therefore, what is important is that we will serve as a platform, and I think somebody mentioned database. Who mentioned that? I think you mentioned that database. Somebody also mentioned the use of technology. I think, and PSAs, Pakistan Students Association. One of my most pleasing moments have been when I went and met the PSAs in the universities. So we can all put it together, and maybe, Sidrah, if I can ask you to, even after this conference is over, stay on this mission, get them all connected, especially those of them who have set up there was this youth society in New York last time when there was an event here, they all came in large numbers. I think even today there might be many of them who have come from New York, part of this society. So we need more of such voices so that we can all put it together. We don't have to do it physically. Sometimes we can do it virtually through, what is that called, video testing. So I think we will be very pleased to help you with whatever you're doing, but these are wonderful ideas. I think I want you to give them all a big hand.
You have added actually a lot of points, and probably this is setting the direction for our conclusion part as well from this call. While we were talking about the future of workforce that Jaseem thought is the biggest challenge that we see, I just want to have a quick idea on, do you think that is there any bigger challenge for the next generation of Pakistani Americans to come than only this future of workforce? Adnan, if you could kindly just give me your 2 words on that.
There is, and I think the ambassador said it brilliantly, it's the intersectionality of who we are as a Pakistani American. We framed the first very question, what does it mean to be a Pakistani American youth? I think it was a very simple question, but a very complex answer to that simple question, right? And all the different aspects that come into that. So we do need to study that more, we do need to understand that more, and then figure out how do we create some bridges. There is something that I do want to share that I feel in the government and embassy can help in putting the platform together. There are partnerships right now that are going on between the United States and Chinese universities, which actually allow for students that are in China to be able to obtain degrees. I think at some level, at local level, Pakistani universities are doing the same thing as well.
Just to add on that, you will be pleased to know that we already have such arrangements, although they are very limited. We are having Discussants Slums Corporation, and there are in other cities as well. We are trying our best to establish those connections as well. So this is what we call networking. This is what we call connectivity between the different bodies, organizations, different segments of the youth, and then to connect them through a platform. And maybe this brings me to another idea that this particular panel discussion actually identifies the issues, identifies the ways how we move forward. So probably what we can aspire for is to have a larger youth convention and to start from there. Like you said, Jaseem, you said about the database. Courtesy this event, I was in courtesy, especially Adnan, I will be thankful to you for that we were able to gather a data of a large number of students. We had people from the community, we had people from different organizations, and we were connected with them as well. But where we were lacking was this very issue, that we were not able probably that well to connect our youth through a single network. So I think if we all agree that together we can try to host a whole youth convention, probably in coming months. Probably we should take some months to prepare for that. And I would request all of the participants who are sitting here as well, if they have any comments, if they want to participate, they can send me directly, they can contact me directly their requests or their suggestions at Sidrah, SIGRAH, at embassyofpakistanusa.org. My email address should also be there on the screen because I cannot see the screen because of this banner. But I think that this is the right way to start from, that we should think about taking it, at a larger context. And probably we should bring up with the youth convention. And I think if you have just a quick question on that so that we can wrap up this discussion and we can together have this consensus on that. So I should be very grateful. Thank you.
Again, I feel like there's nothing new under the sun, right? That's what we all know. Any ideas that we are presenting, it feels like there's movement there. How do we figure out who's doing what where and then bring it all together? I think that becomes the biggest challenge. The investor raised Pakistani student associations, and absolutely, they are throughout the United States. They are very, very well run. How do we create a national platform? And the seat will only play maybe a limited role in doing that, but how does the Pakistani American community come together and establish that national platform that allows us to do three very specific things? It allows us to work on career development, it allows us to work on political engagement, and it then also allows us to work on this brand identity that we are trying to create of who we are as Pakistani Americans.
Thank you, sir. Jaseem.
I think great ideas were presented here. Thank you for touching on very important points. In conclusion, I think the biggest thing and the only thing which we should walk away from over here tonight today is the word unity. If you don't have that, we're not going to achieve anything. The ideas that were by Sadaf and many others, they kind of revolve around the same thing. We really need to come together. If not for us, if not for the person beside us, we need to rise above our own selves at this point in time. We need to realize the actual danger that, let me use the word danger we're in, or what Pakistan is in at this point in time. And commit to ourselves that we're going to come out of this. Every crisis has an opportunity within itself. So let's utilize on that. Let's overcome our differences and start thinking about the big picture now going forward. This is a new era. Let it be a new generation, a new dawn.
I can assure you, if we have people like you, if we have such participation, I can assure you that we are not in danger. Thank you so much, Misbah. Please add your final word to that.
I definitely agree that unity is the key here, and I really love the idea of having a database or some sort of network, because as a student, I often felt like there's a disconnect, especially with trying to even learn more about the country and learn more about the culture. Like at my school, I was interested in pursuing South Asia studies, but unfortunately, that program does not exist at my school. But if the embassy or other resources are there to connect us with that education, I definitely think we can go from there and use that education to become more knowledgeable, bridge those gaps, and just connect with people and learn more about the culture. So I definitely think that from here on out, all of us need to think about what we can do individually and to actually try and make those connections with the youth, because otherwise you shouldn't expect the youth to always just come to you, because there's that gap. So all of us need to work to bridge that gap and actually come together and work together.
Thank you.
I also agree with the other panelists that have said their remarks. And also, I feel that we should also participate in communicating with others and through social media as well, because then that would help the incoming Pakistani Americans figure out or have some advice on how to be immersed in this type of culture.
Thank you. Ahsan, you are also part of one of the community organizations. I would just like to have your quick idea on having this convention, this big, larger youth convention, which I already talked about you while we were conversating about this particular event.
Well, I think that it's important to let people do what they're doing and to support it, right? We have something called Pakistani American Youth Society, and it's everyone's. Our goal is to unite, engage, and rise. And what that means is to take that system and take it across the country. So if you think our system works, then you would have that. We would help you make that work for your community. Every community has its own facets. So I would love to talk to each and every one of you and take advice and workshop this idea with you folks. And that's how we need to start the discussion.
Thank you, Ahsan. Sadaf, last word.
I guess to summarize everything is that what we need right now is to listen, to empathize, and execute strategically. And I'm really, really excited to see what we're able to come out, to create out of this. And if anyone wants to connect with me, work with me, I love helping out Pakistani communities, so please reach out to me because this is what I want to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would especially thank all of the panelists and the discussants for their very important interventions, and I hope that together we can make this aim more successful, and we will cooperate in future as well to communicate across our community and across our youth community in an effective manner. I thank you very much.